Hey, good morning. Good Monday morning. It's Michele Laine with The Space Between. If you're joining me here, thank you so much. I love when you're here live with me. And if you're watching the replay or listening to the replay, wherever you are listening or watching from, welcome. Today, I want to talk all about becoming the quester in your life, the seeker of truth, right? Are you a truth seeker? Are you a way shower, a leader, a coach, a teacher, a healer? Is there this drive, this calling within you that desires the seeking of this next level of yourself, this impacted version of you that can continue to grow and evolve? And so today, the conversation today is all about life being a journey, right? Sometimes we're focused so much on where we're going and the how and how it's all supposed to unfold that we forget to be in the moment of enjoying the journey. And it's not uncommon for our mind to get wound up in those cycles of go, 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 go. I mean, it's all around us all the time. It's almost as if it's a badge of honor that we're so busy and we wear it so proudly that we can do all the things and stay so busy, except that we're missing out on some of the really important things in life often, or at least this was my story. And I'll share that with you. You know, growing businesses with my husband, being an entrepreneur, raising young kids at the time, it was all for the betterment of a life that we didn't have, or a life that they could have in possibility and potential. And what I didn't realize at the time was I didn't have to be running 1,000 miles an hour for years and years and years and decades. And eventually it caught up to me. And what I learned from that was that there's a lot of misperception in how we're supposed to do things, what we should, what we need to or have to do in life. And it's become my passion in helping people kind of unwind those patterns and learn these new ways of being that bring in more peace and ease in their life so they can navigate the waters a little bit more easily, navigate with understanding how they're being in the moment so they can move forward towards what they want to create. So if you're tuning in now, I imagine you are one of those way showers, visionary humans, those beautiful heart-centered individuals who love the quest of seeking and are willing to dive in a little bit more each day, in every moment, to understand yourself better, to expand the filters of perceptions. And I made a lot of notes this morning. I do a recording in my Empowered Mastery community every Monday morning, doing a live energy activation. And we were kind of taking this conversation from making decisions in our life and committing and being all in, and really begin to activate that impact that we want for others in our life. And when I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about here, the perceptions kind of kept flowing in. And so I wanted to have a conversation about the choices that we have available to us through the perceptions and the visions and the ways of being that we may not have explored yet that are available to us. Because when I think back to that time in my life, the thing that I never considered was that it didn't have to be this way. It was what I was taught, it was what I was good at, and I just forced myself to do more, manage all the things, thinking I was an excellent multitasker. But I was excellent at juggling a lot of things. I just wasn't excellent at taking care of myself in the ways that promoted better health. What I did was find ways to take care of myself that promoted more forcing and pushing, trying to fit myself into a mold, a box, another version of something I should, need to, or have to be, instead of truly knowing myself from within and being able to express that full expression out into the world. So my journey has been one of discovering myself more and more and more, and being able to heal these old patterns, witness them rising up and being with them and appreciating them for being there so I can learn from them and choose what I want more of so I can grow in this evolution and provide that ripple effect out into my family, into my work, into the world for you. If you're in here listening to me, tuned in, thank you. Because I don't have it all figured out, and it's not a perfect journey. And this recovering perfectionist part of me wants it to be like all wrapped up in a nice little bow, but that's not how life unfolds. And just when we get used to one thing in life and maybe we get a little comfortable, something else swooshes in and challenges us to step outside that comfort zone, to experience something or a place we've never been before. But I look at it now as an opportunity to grow. Like God gives us opportunities to expand, to remind ourselves that it doesn't have to look one way, that we can take these perceptions and build upon them. And so we talk a lot about in Mastering the Brain Game, our filters of perception. How are we perceiving life through our experiences, through what we've only known until this moment, through what someone else has told us or what we took on meaning to as kids or earlier on in our life from where we are now. And I watch the beautiful choices that happen, right? Like the result of those choices when I'm feeling more empowered to be making those decisions from a place that I'm willing to commit to myself versus the scrambling and the entropy, right? The decline in order, the mass production of disorder when I'm not in that power of my own choice making. When I'm thinking that life is happening to me or that anything outside of me has the power to make things better. And so in this self-mastery journey, in this emotional, mental, physical mastery journey, the mastery isn't about perfection. The mastery is in being willing to stay in the work, to clear the things, the patterns, the habitual thoughts, the habitual behaviors that keep me from what I say that I want. So I can take this cohesive action and bring those things together instead of feeling like it's a tug of war. And so often we can be fighting our own mind, because our mind is used to kind of running loose, running rampage, driving the bus. And we're just pretending like we're in the back seat, not able to take back the wheel. And when we do that, the mind just wants to be guided, knows what to do next, right? But we'll seek the how, and we don't trust what's coming into our own inner wisdom. And it's just because there's a dissonance in what's happening. Like there's this incoherence in how the mind and the body are wanting to approach things. And then we pretend, in essence, a strong word, but it's truthful for my seekers. We pretend that we don't have a choice, or we pretend we're confused, or we hear the language of the mind saying, I don't know. We'll hear it in our own thoughts. We'll hear it as we talk to someone else. I don't know why that is, And I dare to say, I think we do know. But sometimes we just don't want to see. We don't want to feel. We don't want to address it because it may not be the answer that we're looking for. But the beauty is in that answer lies the freedom. If life is a journey of adventure and trials, of sovereignty and of freedom, we don't get there by staying in our comfort zone. We don't have adventure by staying in one area, being safe and perceived to be protected. But yet, the default pattern of the mind wants to keep us there, to stay safe. And truly, it has the ability to expand its perception beyond what we think is even possible. The limitations that we feel so deeply within us are created in our mind, based off those filters, based off the perceptions of how life was. And sometimes we're stuck, kind of looping in what was. You know, we're moving out of a year and a half of fear, of pandemic, of masks, of judgment, of all these things, control. And we're rediscovering life now. We're reopening areas. We're becoming a little more attuned to what worked well and what didn't for us, and what we want more of. But we forget that it's up to us to make those choices. And sometimes those choices aren't the easy ones. Sometimes we have to review and weigh our options and what's available and make a new plan. If we've made our decision, we felt into that and it's still not what we want, be willing to pivot and make a new plan. Feeling into the body, okay, this felt good or this didn't feel good. Because when we don't decide, we get more of what we have decided on. And I've said this multiple weeks, multiple ways, but that indecision that we pretend isn't a part of our decision making, it is a decision. it creates the confusion, and your body just wants to know like what to do next. Your mind just wants direction. What's the intention? Where do we want to head next? We can invite the mind into the heart. We can bring the two together and literally ask, what's next? We have to learn to trust ourselves to get there. And not everybody has this. This is the conversation for those who are understanding what I'm saying. Maybe you've achieved your entire life, or you've had success, but in that success and all the money, you didn't find the fulfillment. Or you didn't think love was possible while you were out working and getting all the money. This is for the achievers who found that achieving doesn't fulfill that void within here. You've done that too. You're still seeking. You're seeking the wholeness and the love of self and feeling safe to be you. And not even knowing that that feeling is wrapped around judgment, that is wrapped around guilt or shame of the past, or is wrapped around these places of being that aren't truly us. They're just learned. They're behaviors that have become beliefs that have been embodied into the cells. And if they've been wound, they can be unwound. That's why this work is so important. That's why I love having these conversations, because if you don't know that, please know it's possible. And it all begins with a decision and what you want instead. What you're willing to feel, what your body is showing you, these aches, these pains, these palpitations, these anxious feelings, they're not the enemy. They are here to help us recognize when we're out of alignment with ourselves, when we have a little incoherence happening. We need to bring in more of that decision making. And sometimes that decision requires action that can make us feel uncomfortable. But through that little bit of discomfort becomes new awareness on the other side of it that can't be found when we're trying to control or contemplate when we get there. That mystical, magical place of there. And hands raised, been there. It's the mind's way of not having to look, right? Because it feels safe to not go there. But when we leap in a little bit or lean in a little bit more and trust ourselves, we learn about ourselves that much more. We trust, we love, we build a foundation of safety in here first instead of looking outside of us. And that seems to have been my biggest piece of the journey, like learning to trust. And I don't have any shame in that, because each layer that I learn to trust more abundance flows in, more wealth I can create, more health and vitality I believe in here stems from here first, not something outside of me, that the way that it feels good to me is the way. The expression to which I want to express is perfect for me. But not being attached to the outcome of anything, being in this place of how can these choices, this energy of impact, be something that I ripple out so others know it's possible too. My family, my daughters, they can make decisions for themselves. They can trust the decisions they're making. They can empower themselves into a different way of being if they're not liking where they are. As a family unit, we can shift, we can grow, we can change. As a business, can pivot. Understand that this is what I needed to do until this moment. And from this moment, now a new decision can be made. Everything is information. With new information comes a new decision. But then the most important piece that I was reminded of recently is that commitment. So these have been the conversations lately. Am I willing to commit and claim what's next from that decision? Or have I found myself looping in the decision without stepping out into the action? Which can happen. I'm thinking about my health in this moment, and I'll share that with you. I've always been one to work out, take care of myself. It's something I've loved doing. It's something I took pride in. I kind of wore that as a badge of honor through the decades, and things I've really learned about myself from. No amount of chasing the perfect body helped me heal my poor relationship with food. No amount of working harder and harder and harder and lifting heavy and heavier weights found the freedom of loving my body more. But as I began to tear apart these layers and look within, I began to find what did fill my soul up with a lot of sparkles. Yoga, relaxation movements, stretching, walking, sprinting on occasion, shaking things up a lot, lifting weights in a way that felt good to my body now, not because I had to, but because I liked it. Finding things that challenged me and being willing to step into that, even when, again, that discomfort came up, to give it a chance, to make a new plan, to weigh my options. I'm getting up at 5 a.m. now for workouts because Kristen, if you're watching, Kristen, who is my trainer, goes online, but she's back east at 8:30 a.m., which means if I want to be live, I can make the commitment to get up and be ready at 5:30 in the morning, my time. And I have been in a belief that I don't want to work out at 5:30 in the morning. And given the option, I'd rather sleep in, right? But life shifted. Our schedule shifted. I'm not as available in the afternoon. And so I found myself pretending I was working out, but I wasn't working out. Now I'm committed and I don't have to go live. I can watch a replay. But the new information came in with a new plan, and it's way better for me right now to have it finished and feel into that than to not. And so again, what do I want? Have I decided? Have I committed? Same thing in business, same thing anywhere. So what are the perceptions or visions or ways of being that you may not have explored yet that you're willing to open yourself up to? Where in your life have you limited your perceptions? And can you look at that in observation, just observing, just feeling into that for a minute? Where might I be limiting myself? In a world of possibility and potential, in a world of so much available, where am I feeling limited? And am I willing to look into that a little bit more? And then where do you seek to grow as being a seeker, right? Where do you seek to grow and evolve, but yet have not taken steps to do so? Just like I was mentioning, I was pretending I was doing all the workouts, but then I was never really getting to them. So my mind was believing the pretending instead of taking the steps to shake something up and try something new. And then where can we come back in all of this, back to a place of gratitude? Not false gratitude because someone said I should make a list of gratitude, but truly thankfulness for the life and the unexplored opportunities that are available. And can we get curious and open and be okay with whatever arises from that point, because we're willing to adventure into those trials, to create the sovereignty in our being, to understand who we are, what we want, and being willing to do what it takes to make it happen. In all aspects of our life, but even for now, the one that's most prevalent for you. Is it your health, your vitality, your business, your family, your relationships, your relationship with self? And just know that wherever your mind tells you it's not possible, there's another possibility available. I hope this really helps. I hope this helps open up conversation, open up an approach. Maybe it's a combined approach of finding new options and then making your plan and then being willing to pivot, right? Like, find what works for you, but know from in here first. And the quickest way to know is to breathe into your body just a few times to settle back into being grounded in your space, in your body. And inviting the busyness of the mind to quiet down and come into your heart to listen for what's next. Give it a job. And just ask yourself, your higher self, that version of you that you know lives in you, what's the next step today? What can I do today to lean more into the adventure? Where can I expand my perception? Where can I create a bigger vision just a little bit more? And how can I love myself for all of it 5, 10, 15% more than I did before? And if I'm feeling discomfort and something arising that doesn't make me feel good, can I love that? That's where it gets tricky. Can I love that because it's allowed me to bring it to my awareness so I can choose instead of entropy? Choose evolution instead of entropy. And from there, that's where we start to rebuild that power within, rediscover what's already in here. I hope this helps you this week. I would love to hear from you. As always, feel free to put your comments below or reach out via email, michelle@michellelaine.com. If you haven't yet explored my free Facebook group, Empowered Mastery Community, I'd love to have you there. I'll put a link at the bottom. And as always, I hope you have a beautiful week and a wonderful rest of your month. Talk to you soon.